My sister secretly ruined every relationship I had. I found out the hard way. Ever wonder why every good thing in your life keeps slipping away, but you can never figure out who's behind it? I did. For years. Every boyfriend, every promise, every almost happily after you if they all ended the same way. A sudden argument, a text that made no sense, a call that never came back. I blamed my luck, until one night, I opened the wrong message and realized it wasn't luck at all. It was my sister. My own blood. If you were me, what would you have done? Confront her, or pretend you didn't just watch your trust crash in slow motion? My name's Hannah James, 28, from a small town outside Seattle. My sister Lena, 2 years older, everyone's favorite. She's the type who walks into a room and people smile without knowing why. When we were kids, she was the leader. I was the listener. But somewhere between sharing secrets and sharing DNA, something shifted. The first sign was small. I was 19, dating Evan, a quiet, sweet guy who played guitar and brought Lena coffee when she visited. She laughed about it. Friendly, she said. 2 weeks later, he stopped calling. I found out months later he'd started seeing someone else. Someone he called a better match. He never said who gave him that idea. The pattern continued. Every time I was happy, Lena was suddenly closer. Supportive, curious, complimentary in that way people compliment things they want to own. At 25, I met Aaron through work, funny, reliable, the kind of guy who drives 40 minutes just to bring you soup. He and Lena got along great, too great. She'd text him about event plans, send memes, use nicknames that weren't hers to use. When I asked about it, she laughed. Oh please, Hannah, jealousy is so unattractive. I apologized. And then, 2 months later, he dumped me by text. No call, no closure. Lena was the first person he called after that breakup, because of course she was. I should have seen it. I didn't. People say blood is thicker than water, but no one warns you it also stains deeper. I tried again at 27, new city, new apartment, new boyfriend named Damon. He was steady, quiet, a graphic designer who listened when I talked about my crazy childhood sister. For a year, everything was fine until Lena came to visit. She arrived Friday, with wine and compliments and barely unpacked before saying, "Your place is so charming and almost finished." Damon chuckled. I did not. Saturday morning, I woke up alone. Damon had gone for a run. Lena accidentally joined him. They came back laughing about his pace and her endurance. It was supposed to be funny. My stomach didn't think so. The rest of the weekend, she hovered complimenting his coffee skills, telling stories that made me sound childish. At Sunday dinner, she raised her glass and said, "To Damon, the most patient man in the world." But then, I would know. Everyone laughed. I did not. When she finally left, I told Damon it bothered me. He said, she was just being friendly. 2 weeks later, he said, I need space. I cried for 1 day, slept for 2, and then went back to pretending. Because if I let myself believe she was doing it on purpose, then I also had to believe I was the kind of person someone could hate that much for free. Months passed. Our conversations grew shallow weather, Mom, bills. She'd sometimes ask, "Seeing anyone?" like she was ordering off a menu. By then, I had met Nathan, smart, funny, and introverted enough to keep our world quiet. For the first 6 months, I didn't mention Lena at all. Peace became my secret language. Then came the text that changed everything. It was a Wednesday night. Nathan was in the shower, and his phone buzzed on the nightstand. Normally, I never peek, but my name lit up on the screen from an unknown number. The message said, "Is greater than, don't say I didn't warn you. Hannah always plays victim when she gets bored." My heart stopped. Why would someone text him about me? Curiosity isn't a choice when your security feels threatened. I opened his message history. The number had texted before small warnings, casual comments, pitched to sound protective. And then, a photo of me and Lena at a family barbecue attached to a note, "She lies about everything." I checked the contact, no name, but a tiny thumbnail of a beach trip we took years ago, one only Lena had posted. My hands went cold. Every failed relationship flashed back like a slideshow. The timing, the excuses, the mysterious DMs and messages that drove men away. It had been her all along. I shut the phone and sat on the edge of the bed until I heard the shower turn off. Nathan walked out, smiling innocently like the world hadn't just split open. "Hey, babe," he said, towel around his neck. "What's wrong?" I handed him the phone and quietly said, "Read it." Because the way he reacted to that message and what we did next would change my entire family forever. Nathan looked down at the phone, squinting as the steam from his shower fogged the mirror behind him. He read the message twice before his eyes lifted to mine. "Who sent this?" he asked quietly. "I think we both know," I said. My voice surprised me calm, too calm. He frowned, scrolling through the thread, his shoulders tightening with every line. Each text looked the same, subtle, polite warnings, like someone whispering poison disguised as concern. Finally, he whispered, "Your sister?" I nodded. He set the phone on the dresser like it had burned him. "How long's this been happening?" "Years," I said. "I just didn't see it until now." Nathan rubbed his face. "What's wrong with her?" I gave a broken laugh. That's what I've been trying to figure out my entire life. The next morning, I sat at my kitchen table with a cup of cold coffee and a storm in my head. There was anger, fiery, pulsing anger, but under it, a deep sadness that felt older than either of us. Lena and I had shared bunk beds, notebooks, secrets. How does that turn into sabotage? What kind of sister ruins happiness she never even wanted herself? Nathan came out of the bedroom buttoning his shirt. "You want me to call her?" "No," I said quickly. "This isn't your fight." She made it mine the second she texted me. I shook my head. "If you call, she'll twist it. It'll look like I'm controlling you. That's how she works." He sighed. "So what do we do?" "We wait," I said. People like Lena always leave fingerprints when they try to cover their tracks. By Friday night, those fingerprints appeared. I got a message from her. "Saw Nathan earlier. He looked upset. Everything okay? You can talk to me." I stared at it for a long time. The audacity almost made me laugh. She'd poisoned the well and still expected me to drink from it. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, but I didn't answer. Not yet. Silence is a better teacher than anger when you want someone to reveal who they really are. Instead, I screenshotted everything and sent it to Nathan. He replied within seconds, "Let me handle it." I panicked. "No, please don't." Too late. 3 dots appeared on the screen. He was already typing. 10 minutes later, he walked out onto the balcony where I was sitting. "I texted her," he said. "What did you say?" "Just the truth." My pulse spiked. "Nathan, she'll manipulate it." He showed me his phone. His message to her read, "You might think you're protecting your sister, but all you're doing is teaching me exactly who to stay away from. Stop contacting me." I exhaled, half in relief and half in dread. "She's not going to like that." He nodded. "Good." The next day, my phone rang Lena. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity can be louder than caution. I swiped to pick up. Her voice came sharp and fast. "Did you make Nathan text me?" "No," I said, keeping my tone even. "He did that all on his own." "You're lying." "Funny, that used to be my line." She clicked her tongue. "Hannah, this is paranoia. I was just looking out for you." "Looking out for me?" I repeated, my laugh shaking. "By messaging every man I've cared about until they left? They left because they saw how obsessed you get. I saved you from heartbreak." It's strange how calmly manipulators describe destruction like they're narrating a home improvement show. "You didn't save me," I said. "You made sure I was broken before anyone else could." Her silence told me I'd hit the nerve. When she finally spoke again, her words were venom wrapped in velvet. "You always needed rescuing, Hannah. I'm just the only one honest enough to admit it." And then she hung up. For hours, I sat staring at my phone. Nathan joined me after work, noticed the screen, and asked, "You okay?" "I don't think I am," I said. "But I think I'm finally sane." He tilted his head. "Meaning?" "Meaning I've been letting her rewrite my life one breakup at a time. That ends tonight." "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to tell Mom." Nathan hesitated. "Won't that blow up the family?" "It's already blown up. I'm just turning on the lights." That Sunday, I met our mother for brunch. She looked proud seeing both her girls doing well, at least from the outside. I waited until after coffee to speak. "Mom," I said slowly, "do you remember Evan? And Aaron? And Damon?" She smiled. "Oh yes, your old boyfriends. What about them?" "They didn't just disappear. Lena helped." Her fork froze mid-air. "Helped?" "She contacted each of them, told them I was unstable, needy, that I'd cheat eventually." Mom blinked, pale. "That can't be true." I showed her the screenshots. She read them all without speaking. By the end, her hand covered her mouth. "Oh my God," she whispered. "She always said they were too hurt to handle you." I believed her. Tears burned my throat. but I kept going. She even messaged Nathan. That's how I found out. I'm done pretending this is sisterly love. Mom sat back in the chair, shaking her head. I don't know what to say. Then don't say anything, I replied. Just don't ask me to forgive her yet. That night, Lena showed up at my door. She looked furious but calculated. You told Mom, she hissed. Yes. Do you know what you've done? You've humiliated me. I stepped aside. Then we're even. Her eyes flashed. You've cost me my family, you self-righteous. Stop, I interrupted, heart pounding. For once, just stop lying. For a long second, we just stared at each other. Same face, same blood, completely different hearts. She opened her mouth, then shut it, jaw tightening. Finally, she said, one day you'll need me again. And I answered, that day will never come. Then I shut the door. But closure doesn't stick easily because 2 days later, I got a message that proved my sister wasn't finished yet. 2 days later, I woke up to a silence that didn't feel peaceful, the kind that happens right before your phone ruins your morning. There it was. A new message from a number I didn't recognize. The text said, "It's sad how easily people believe you. Don't forget, I know everything." I didn't need to guess, only one person in the world would write a sentence exactly that smug. Nathan walked in holding coffee, noticed my face. What now? I showed him the message. He exhaled sharply. She's still doing this? Apparently she's replaced guilt with persistence. He sat beside me, rubbing my arm in slow circles. She's baiting you, he said. She wants a reaction. Then maybe it's time she gets one, just not the one she expects. That afternoon, I took a half day from work and drove to my mother's house. She opened the door before I even knocked. I saw your sister an hour ago, she said quietly. She looked terrible. Good, I replied before stopping myself. Sorry. That was mean. Mom shook her head. Honesty isn't mean, it's fatigue. Inside, Mom handed me a flash drive. She left this. Said it was proof that you always twist the story. I didn't look. My heart dropped. Proof? She said it's like therapy for you two, one last conversation. I plugged it into Mom's laptop. There was only one file. A folder labeled Hannah, Reality. Inside were screenshots, 2 edited ones. Fake conversations between me and old boyfriends, as though I'd been gossiping, lying, manipulating. Voice clips of arguments, cut mid-sentence to fit her version. And a video of her crying into the camera, saying, I just wanted my sister to be honest with herself. I never meant to hurt her. It was cinematic gaslighting. Mom pressed her fingers to her lips. What is this? Lies, I said. My voice trembled, but certainty grounded it. She's building her own defense before anyone accuses her. Driving home, I felt something inside finally snap, not rage, but clarity. Some people don't want resolution, they want relevance. Lena didn't want forgiveness. She wanted an audience. I decided I'd give her one, just not on her terms. Nathan helped me plan it. You sure about this? He asked. Yes, I said. She ruined my name privately. I'll clear it the same way directly, but calmly. He nodded. Then I'm beside you. That Sunday, our family usually had lunch together at Mom's place. Lena had texted the group, pretending nothing happened. See everyone at noon, bringing dessert. I smiled grimly. Classic. She was always first to arrive and last to leave, soaking up center-stage attention. By the time Mom, Nathan, and I entered the living room, she was already there, arranging plates like a host. She looked straight at me. Ready for peace? She asked sweetly. More than ever, I said, setting my phone on the table and pressing record. Her smile faltered. What are you doing? Having that conversation you keep rewriting. Mom frowned. Girls, not again. It's okay, Mom, I said quietly. We're just finally being honest. Lena crossed her arms. You've made everyone think I'm evil. Why? Because you can't keep a boyfriend? Nathan stepped forward. Because you kept taking them. Her laugh sounded brittle. Please, I did you favors. By telling them I was unstable? I asked. I was protecting them from disappointment, she said, chin lifting. No, I replied. You were protecting yourself from comparison. The room went still. Lena blinked, and for a second, something human cracked through the surface. Then she sneered. You always thought you were the victim. I took a deep breath. No, I just stopped being your project. Mom started crying softly in the corner. Stop this. Both of you. Mom, I said. I love you, but pretending nothing happened is what built this mess. Lena rolled her eyes. You act like I destroyed your life. I pointed to the flash drive still in my bag. You tried. Her lips parted, but no words came. Nathan looked at her not angry, just disappointed. He said quietly, You know what the most successful liar always loses? The people they wanted to impress. For once, Lena had no performance ready. She grabbed her purse, muttered something like, Enjoy your little show, and walked out. When the door slammed, silence landed heavy. Mom whispered, Is it finally over? I stared at the closed door. It'll be over when she stops needing to win. Nathan wrapped his arm around me. Then it's over for you. You already won. That night, I uploaded one photo to social media. Nothing dramatic, just a picture of me and Nathan laughing in the garage with the caption, Peace isn't defending your name to liars, it's forgetting theirs. People from our small town who knew us liked and commented. I didn't need to explain the details. Everyone has one relative who poisons by pretending to care. A week later, something unexpected happened. A letter arrived handwritten, addressed to me. The return label, Lena James. My pulse raced as I tore it open. You win, it began. Happy now? Everyone knows I'm awful. I hope you realize what you've done. You took the only family I had left. My eyes stung. The letter continued. Maybe I ruined your relationships because I didn't have any of my own. Maybe I was jealous that people stayed for you, but left me. I don't know. I just know I'm tired of being the villain in every story you tell. I folded it gently. Nathan asked, Are you going to reply? Not yet, I said. You can't talk someone out of manipulation, they have to run out of space for it. That night, I put her letter in a drawer beside my journal. Not forgiven, not forgotten. Just stored like an artifact of pain that no longer owned me. For the first time in years, I slept through the night. No phone buzzing, no secrets scratching at my peace. But peace doesn't always mean ending. Sometimes it's the beginning of life without constant defense, the hardest lesson I'd yet to live. The peace lasted for about a month, long enough for me to believe this was finally over. No calls, no strange numbers, no invisible tension in text notifications. I started cooking again, laughing again, planning weekend trips with Nathan. I even stopped checking social media before bed. Then one evening, my phone buzzed. It was Mom. Her voice was trembling. Sweetheart, you should probably come by. Your sister's here. I felt my chest tighten. Mom, I'm not... Hannah, please. She's been crying. Something's different this time. Different never means easier. When I arrived, Lena was on the couch, elbows on her knees, hands tangled in hair that looked like it hadn't been brushed in days. Her eyes were red. She hadn't even bothered with mascara. For a woman who used makeup like armor, that alone was a surrender. I stopped at the doorway. What's this? She looked up, pupils wet and unfocused. I messed up. I really messed up. Mom stood in the kitchen pretending to clean, clearly trying to give us space but still listening. Lena held up a crumpled wad of paper, some kind of printout. These were my messages, she said. I showed them to a friend. She said I was emotionally abusive. Her voice cracked on the last word. I didn't move closer. She's not wrong. I know, she said quickly. I know. I was angry, mostly at you, but also at how easy you make love look. Everyone stays for you. That's not love, Lena, I said softly. You can't scare people into staying. She nodded. I thought if I ruined every guy, you'd have to come back home. Back to me and Mom. I didn't want to be alone. The confession hit harder than any insult she'd ever thrown. Because it didn't sound like manipulation, it sounded like a child finally admitting she'd broken the toy just to keep it close. I sat down across from her, not ready to hug, but not ready to walk away either. Why now? I asked. I got fired, she said flatly. I'd been talking about people again, stirring things up at work. My boss said I create drama where there isn't any. He wasn't wrong. For the first time, she laughed, but it came out hollow. I spent a week thinking about reaching out, she said. Then I kept hearing this one line in my head, what you said that day. You were protecting yourself from comparison. And it hit me, you were right. I hate that you were right. I stared at her for a long time before saying, You can't undo what you did, Lena. I know, but I can start somewhere. We sat in that quiet for a few minutes. She looked small, not pitiful, just human. I don't want to keep hating you, she said. I'm tired. I don't want you to hate me either, I admitted. I just don't trust you. She nodded. I wouldn't trust me either. Mom peeked from the kitchen, eyes hopeful but wet. Do you two want tea? We both laughed weakly, a strange relief. Even Mom's shaky voice broke the sadness a little. When I left that night, Lena hugged me at the door. A tentative hug, the kind that feels like a question. I didn't answer it. I just said, don't text me for a while. Heal first. She nodded. Fair. Driving home, the road shimmered with rain. Nathan reached out from the passenger seat and touched my hand. How did it go? She's cracked open, I said. I don't know if that means broken or finally honest. Maybe both, he replied. For the first time since this all began, I didn't feel like the victim or the victor. I just felt like someone watching a storm pass over familiar ground. A week later, I got a letter in the mail, handwritten, short, careful. Thank you for not screaming when I deserved it. I joined a support group. It's small, but they teach accountability. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just want you to keep living happy, so I can remember what that looks like. No signature, just her favorite pen's faint blue ink. Nathan read it over my shoulder. Sounds real, he said. I folded it slowly. I hope it is. He kissed my temple. You did your part, let her do hers now. Months passed. Seasons shifted. Lena stayed quiet this time. Every now and then, Mom would tell me she was volunteering, keeping busy, taking classes. Still loves attention, I'd joke, but my laughter wasn't bitter anymore. One afternoon, while I was painting the living room, a knock came at the door. It was a delivery driver. Package for Hannah James, he said. Inside was a small wooden box tied with ribbon. No sender label. I opened it carefully. Inside, a silver bracelet. Engraved on it was one line. Peace doesn't prove you right, it proves you healed. My breath caught. Beneath the bracelet was a folded note. I'm moving. New city, new start. Please don't worry. You were right. I can't be part of your life until I can be good for it. Thank you for showing me what healthy looks like. I stood there crying quietly, not because I missed her, but because her words finally sounded like freedom for both of us. I placed the bracelet beside her old letter in my drawer. A memorial to what love looks like when it stops pretending to be control. That night, Nathan held me close and said, You okay? I think I finally am, I whispered. Not because she's gone, but because she's learning somewhere else. Peace doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers your name from a distance, and this time, I was ready to listen. A year passed. No more strange messages. No more whispering doubts in my mind. Just quiet mornings, coffee with Nathan, and a small corner of my heart dedicated to nothing but peace. Sometimes Mom would mention short updates. She's keeping a job now. Or, she called to ask about Dad's record collection. I never asked for details. Peace has to mean not collecting information about old pain. Then one afternoon, an email arrived from a new address, Lena's support at... My pulse gave the familiar flicker before my brain caught up. I opened it slowly. Hey, our program is putting together a self-healing workshop next month in Seattle. I'm giving a small talk about family relationships and accountability. If you ever want to come, the seat in the last row is yours. No pressure. I stared at the screen. Nathan peeked from behind his laptop. It's her? Yeah. He smiled softly. You going? I don't know. But I did know. I had to. The day of the event, I dressed simply cream sweater, jeans, nervous heart. Nathan squeezed my hand in the parking lot. You don't owe anyone anything. Go because you choose to, not because you have to. I nodded, exhaled, and stepped inside. The hall smelled like coffee and plastic chairs. 10, maybe 15 people were gathered, chatting quietly. At the front, a woman adjusted her notes. It took me a second to recognize her. Lena. Her posture was smaller now, less command, more calm. Her hair tied back, face free of paint. When she noticed me, she froze mid-sentence. Her smile trembled into something fragile but real. She walked over carefully. You came. I managed a small grin. Curiosity's a bad habit. She chuckled, still sarcastic. Still breathing, I said. She gestured toward a chair in the back. Stay if you want. I'm not here to defend me. Just to explain what broken looks like when it finally admits defeat. And for the first time ever, I watched my sister not perform. Lena spoke for 20 minutes. No drama, no self-pity, just honesty. She talked about envy pretending to be love, about hurting the people closest because their happiness felt like proof of her own failure. She said, Sometimes the only way to feel noticed is to break the picture everyone's looking at. People nodded softly. At one point, she glanced toward me, not for validation, but acknowledgement. I met her eyes, gave the smallest nod I could manage. It was enough. When the session ended, people crowded around her with thanks and hugs. She glanced at me once, not walking over, not forcing reconciliation, just quietly respecting distance. As I left, she slipped a small card into my hand. On it, she'd written 2 words. Thank you. Outside, the Seattle air was cool and wet. Nathan waited near the car. So? She's different. Good different? Learning different. He smiled. That counts. We drove home mostly in silence, radio humming softly. Halfway back, I rolled down the window and let the wind hit my face sharp, clean, like erasing a chalkboard. For the first time in my adult life, the word sister didn't taste bitter. Weeks later, Mom hosted her usual Sunday dinner. This time, it was me who invited Lena. Marking growth doesn't mean forgetting boundaries. It means rewriting them. Lena came alone, carrying a plate of overbaked lasagna and a shy smile. We didn't hug right away, but when Eli, our neighbor's kid visiting, asked, "Are you sisters?" we both answered yes at the same time and laughed. Mom exhaled like she'd been holding that breath for years. Dinner went smoothly, no awkward digs or unspoken wait. When Lena left, she handed me another small envelope. Inside was a photo. Us when we were little, covered in mud, laughing like co-conspirators. On the back she'd written, "For reminding me who I was before jealousy learned my name." I placed it in the same drawer as her letter and bracelet. That night, Nathan asked, "Does part of you still worry she'll slip?" "Maybe," I said. "But people don't heal perfectly. They heal honestly." He nodded. "So, you forgive her?" I don't think forgiveness is a one-time thing. It's a daily decision to stop reopening old wounds. I leaned against him, feeling that strange, beautiful ache that comes after long healing grief mixed with gratitude. A few months later, I received a photo update from one of the group coordinators. It was a newsletter email snapshot of everyone at the self-healing program. Lena stood at the back, smiling, holding a banner that said, "We don't repeat the lessons we've learned with love." I smiled, hit save. Then I deleted the old messages from my archive once and for all, because the story had finally become something worth remembering. That evening, as sunset spilled orange across our kitchen, I found Nathan sitting by the window scrolling through comments on our own blog. Someone had written, "Your story about forgiving toxic family gave me courage to stand up for myself. Thank you." He turned to me. "See? Even your pain knew what it was doing teaching." I smiled. "Guess you were right. Healing doesn't waste anything, not even hurt." Later, before bed, I took the bracelet from the drawer and clasped it around my wrist. The metal caught the lamplight, words glinting like a whispered truth. "Peace doesn't prove you right, it proves you healed." I whispered to no one. "I'm proud of us. Both of us." For the first time, I wasn't telling the story of a victim or a villain. I was telling one about 2 people who finally stopped lying to others and to themselves. And maybe that's how families really survive, not by forgetting pain, but by refusing to pass it down. If you've ever loved someone who kept hurting you, remember, distance doesn't mean hate. Sometimes it's just how love learns to breathe again. This story felt real to you. If you've ever carried family pain and still wish them healing, subscribe right now. We share stories about strength, forgiveness, and starting over. Because around here, even broken bonds can find a better ending.